What is up, everybody? We are back with Duelist 101. I am Mason, as always, here with Zach, and our voice recorder, Craig.
Gregory.
That's right.
The magnificent Gregory. The magnificent Gregory who runs all things in Discord.
Oh, man. Yeah, so Craig records things for us, but how are you doing, Zach?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's a little later this evening. I'm trying to deal with one of my dogs here with my hand so he doesn't try to jump onto the table. It's a good time. It's fun.
I can't imagine that Apollo would ever.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man. It happens.
The little puppy is. He's fine, though. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited. Let's get this thing going.
Let's do it fast as possible. Just before we get too far, I just want to make sure we remind people we officially have a YouTube channel started.
YouTube. The YouTube.
That's right. Very excited. Oh my gosh. Yeah, for unknown reasons, we're gonna have to fire Zach off the podcast.
For some reason.
For some reason. Oh, dude, put it away. But we do have a YouTube channel. Pretty soon, our goal is to be featuring some of our own gameplay, where we actually demonstrate a few of the different things that we talk about. That way, one, we're not totally garbage, and two,
that's the goal.
A little bit more.
Hopefully, we're not garbage.
I don't know.
Instead, we are garbage.
We are the fancy type of trash. Hopefully, guys.
Play Yu-Gi-Oh with our pinky up. That's how we know
the whole time.
Hi. Special summon something.
You time out because you stop for tea in the middle. But no, anyway, guys, we're hoping to show a little bit of gameplay and show some of the different things we talk about with different decks that we like to use. And funny enough, it actually kind of works out that we split our summoning mechanics down the middle, just about. So me and Zach both kind of get a kick out of that.
Yeah,
so
cracking us up.
Just wanted to plug that real quick. But tonight we're talking about ritual summons. So Zach, any words before we get going?
Let's do it. It's a lot of fun, and it is a cool way to summon that's not often used. So
that's true. All right. See you in the next round. Oh, man. I'd just like to go on record and say that TikTok is a problem. And, oh, geez. So, you good, dog?
I'm sorry.
So I'm going to go ahead and let you know now. If you hear anything that sounds like a gunshot, I promise you it's a firework.
Yeah, it ain't us. No, it feels like one of the dogs peed under the table, but I can't actually prove that at all because I don't see any yellow or anything like that either. So, hey, get out of the trash.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm ready to go now.
Yeah. So happy belated 4th of July, all of you American listeners. And if you're not American, you can suck it. And
oh my gosh, we cannot do that.
No, you guys are probably running things a lot better than we are. So
significantly, but it's cool.
But here we are living the dream and stuff. Today, like we said in the intro, we are going to be talking about ritual summoning. And so, Zach, you want to tell us a little bit about what ritual cards look like?
I'd love to. So here's the big thing with ritual monsters. So last week we talked about link monsters, which have a blue color to them, and it's like a very bright blue, sort of a cybernetic, has a bunch of hexagons on it, whatever like that. Ritual monsters are really old monsters. They're a really old special summoning mechanic of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And part of the token that goes with that, I guess, is having a sort of faded looking card. But some people can appreciate sort of the classic look of them. They're like a faded blue. Now, even though they're blue, just like link monsters, that doesn't mean they have any arrows to them. Instead, they are just kind of this faded blue. They're very specialized monsters. They do what they do, and they do what they do well. So they're really, really good. They're really fun. That was my dog messing with his food bowl because we had to put an extra bowl in it so that he wouldn't just go and eat where he had to throw it up later because he was eating too fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Daisy does that sometimes when she's upset. So it's cool. Yeah, like you pointed out, these do look a little bit like Link monsters, but two big differences. One, they don't have arrows, like Zach pointed out. And two, these cards actually go in the main deck. Every other summoning mechanic we've talked about up to this point belongs in the extra deck. So that seriously changes a lot about how we're going to be thinking about today. So let me see here. I think now we get into how do you get these things on the field? What do you do?
I think so.
So I'll kick us off real quick. If you guys remember, way back in our very first episode, when we were but wee children,
when we were small and didn't know what we were doing, as if that's changed that much by now. But
that's right. Like 2 weeks ago. We
a young boy. I'm so sorry.
There are a lot of people that were just triggered.
That's
So we covered normal summoning, tribute summoning, and fusion summoning, and we're actually going to talk about the middle one there, tribute summoning. Now, as we remember, tribute summoning is under the umbrella of normal summoning. All it means is if you have a level 5 or higher monster, you are going to have to sacrifice one of the monsters you've already got on the field in order to bring it out. From your hand, I should clarify. So if it's level 5 or 6, you only need 1 tribute. If it's anything higher than that, you need at least 2. Some of the cards will say it must be special summoned by tributing 3 monsters, but in that case, it's treated like a special summon, doesn't count as a normal. But, everything's got exceptions.
Right.
But basic thing you need to know is the tribute, you sacrifice 1 or 2 monsters, depending on the level of the card. Now, ritual monsters take that probably like a step or 2 further. And so what you're going to do, first key thing, you need to have a ritual spell. Zach, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I'd love to. So a ritual spell it looks like a regular spell card, so it's that green, blue, whatever, aqua, if you want to be real fancy about it. It's that kind of color that the rest of all our spell cards are. It is aqua. So a ritual spell, the only difference between a ritual spell and a regular spell card is this little icon that shows up in the top right. And this little icon looks like a little flame, is all it looks like. It's a little flame inside of a circle. So with a ritual spell, it gives us access to being able to use ritual monsters unless it's a particular archetype, which I'm sure Mason will mention later, that he's real interested in. So that is sort of the big key on what makes a ritual spell different from a regular spell. In addition, if you try to use a ritual spell without a ritual monster, you can't. It has no target to activate its effect. So,
right. So that ritual spell, usually what's trying to happen is that ritual spell is targeting monsters that you have on the field in order to special summon a ritual monster from your hand or even sometimes your deck. Very specific cases, but usually it's from your hand. And so what'll happen is, let's say I have a level 8 ritual monster in my hand. In that case, I could have any combination of 2 level 4s, a level 2 and a level 6, whatever could equal the level 8. Or it could equal more than level 8. It just depends on what that ritual spell says. All right, so the ritual spell targets usually however many monsters you need to fulfill the level requirement of your ritual monster. And what I mean by that is, if your ritual monster is level 4 and you already have a level 4 on the field, boom, you're good. You've covered every single level that you need. In some cases, though, this is where you will learn in Yu-Gi-Oh! As it always is, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are supremely bad at, reading their own cards. And so what ends up happening is people will
We
miss the
learn the
fact.
combo lines and nothing else matters.
That's right. We go online, we watch the combo video, and we're done. It works on EDO Pro. So what ends up happening is these ritual spell cards will sometimes say you need to match exactly the number of levels that your ritual monster has. When Zach and I were practicing and getting to know the style, a little bit better, that was something he really struggled with. A lot of his cards would say, okay, you need exactly the level to match.
And I hated it.
And I hated it. And so Zach kept screwing that up. Sorry,
Very
Zach.
regular. No, it was so bad. I was so bad at it, y'all. It was ridiculous. I would go and we'll talk about the deck I was actually using later. I'll give you sort of as many ins and outs as I can without being any good at using the deck. Just because it's not my style of deck, I'm really bad at it, and that's fine. But with this deck, what you had to do is many of the spell cards were incredibly powerful. Like you could pull 2 and 3 ritual monsters if you had them in your hand just by laying down this ritual spell, which is insane to get so many bodies off one card. That's awesome. What I was doing was not that. I needed to read the card much more effectively than I was and see like it has to add up to exactly this many levels. Because as soon as what I was used to is I was trying to just kind of throw down this, and I had like a 10-star in my extra deck that I got to use for this ritual summon. So I just threw that out the window, and I was like, I can do it. And no, I could not. So that was kind of the big thing.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of how Zach struggled, and a lot of people probably do whenever they're trying to make legal activations and things. So that's the basics on that. Rituals are similar to tributes in that you're having to sacrifice some monster on your field, but they are treated as a special summon, not another kind of normal summon, which is also important. So I'll be honest, this episode is just going to be a lot shorter than normal, but I think we've covered what we need to. There's a couple different cards that are really, really good for supporting your ritual decks. Like there's Preparation of Rites, which allows you to bring a ritual monster to hand and grab a ritual spell from your grave. So both of those abilities are incredibly useful. And there's Pre-Preparation of Rites, which I think allows you to bring a ritual monster from your deck to hand, but there's some sort of stipulation that I couldn't quite wrap my head around.
I don't remember.
I'm going to look this up because it's going to bother me if I just totally screw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
while
ahead.
He's looking that up. So Ritual, the only downside with Ritual decks is that, honestly, in Konami's past, they just haven't been made to be just super duper powerful. A lot of them have gotten powerful or have gotten some really nice support or whatever like that. But sometimes the ceiling is a little lower than you might like them to be, especially in a Link age. But fortunately, Konami is doing a better job of getting some what they call legacy support for decks that were used in the anime or something like that. And by doing so, they're taking some links and making it where they actually help ritual decks go and work a little better. So
that's true. So with the spell card Pre-Preparation of Rites, what it does is it allows you to grab a ritual monster, and then you can grab a ritual spell from your deck or graveyard, but it has to name that specific ritual monster. So that's what makes it a little bit harder to use. Me personally, in the decks that I tried to build, I would use very, very general ritual spells because that allowed me to, I think, more effectively play, and it gave me more chances to play on each turn, rather than having like a specific card but missing the other one, and so on and so forth. So our next little thing. We always want to give you guys decks to try if you kind of like this style. Ritual summoning is very, very old, but I will say it is especially powerful against a lot of decks of today, as far as being able to deal with people that focus on using their extra deck.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually brings us to our first example, and that is Cyber Angel. Now, this is strictly, this is strictly, I cannot emphasize this enough, a casual deck. And why I say that, it's so fun, dude. No, here's the thing. I'll be honest. Nobody uses it. People rarely, if ever, if they're going to play Ritual, Cyber Angels is not.
Yeah, that is not their deck of choice.
It's not. It's just. It's
now,
not.
if one of you listeners, if one of you listeners out there can figure out a way to break any of these decks, please let us know. Shoot it in the comments and say, "Yo, I found a way to like smack everybody at my locals with this."
Yeah,
tell us, please. I want to like FaceTime or Zoom or whatever like that, just so you can explain to me how in the world you broke a Ritual deck.
Yeah.
And I just want to know. So
yeah. So Cyber Angel is really cool, and I actually love it for this particular monster. It's Cyber Angel Vrash. And what she does is, whenever this card is ritual summoned, you can destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible that were special summoned from the extra deck. And if you do, you can deal 1,000 points of damage for every single one. Now, the thing is, in today's metagame, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are going to have several negates on board if you're trying to play like competitively. But if you're just playing with your buddies, or you're just trying to get better at the game and you need to learn different strategies, this, I think, is a really good deck to practice with. It has a really unique style of play, a really unique advantage over a lot of popular decks in use. And to be honest, I had a great time playing it. So, Zach, you want to take the next one?
Sure. So next casual deck that we have on the docket is Blue Eyes Chaos Max. And Chaos Max Blue Eyes is such a stupid powerful card. And what makes it so powerful first is that it works with complete synergy with the rest of the Blue Eyes combo. And as modernized as people have tried to make it anyway. But it works really, really insanely well, and you always have something in your hand. Something's going to work out for it in general. But usually, if you can go and get Chaos Max on the field like as soon as possible, the thing can barely be touched. And then when your opponent is just like, yeah, I can't do crap against that, so I'm just going to set a card and pass, you're about to smack them because Chaos Max inflicts double battle-piercing damage. And what that means is it attacks, and so you subtract their defense from your attack, and then you double it, and that's how many points they're going to take of damage, unless you have some spell or trap able to negate that, or if the card itself says you don't take battle damage with anything from this card. It's insane.
What's really special is that it already comes in, I think, at 4,000 attack.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So if you like the beatdown strategy, I highly recommend Blue Eyes Chaos Max.
Yeah, or if you are just a hardcore Kaiba fan, then have at it. It is absolutely worth it. And you might be asking why we haven't brought up the, where's Dark Magician? Where's Yugi's set? And the reason for that is the Dark Magician.
We hated it. No.
The Dark Magician ritual deck sucks. That's why.
Yeah, no.
It's
the problem is that with the Dark Magician ritual deck, because they also have Black Magician of Chaos Max, or Dark Magician of Chaos Max. Black Magician.
There's a Black Magician of Chaos. There's a Dark Magician of Chaos Max, I think, and then there's Dark Magician of Chaos. So 3 separate cards, and I think the Black Magician of Chaos is a vanilla card. Dark Magician of Chaos is okay. I don't remember what effect it has. And then the Dark Magician of Chaos Max, that actually is a pretty good card.
You get to get spells back, which is cool. but a lot of the deck is kind of tough to use because unless you're just kind of using it to supplement what you already have with Dark Magician, do not make the Ritual Dark Magician stuff the focal point of your deck. It's just not good enough to do it. Not in today's game. And that really sucks for all the Dark Magician Legacy players. But right now, it is just not good enough to be its boss monster, which really, really stinks. I think it'd be a great one.
Yeah, I think it would be seriously cool. It's I mean, it is fun, but really what you're doing is playing Dark Magician, and you happen to have thrown in the ritual part of it. So it's just not as effective as it can be. But again, this is stuff that, like, if you're playing with your friends, it's not that bad of a gig, to be honest. And I'll take this last little one. This is actually relatively new. It's the Megalith archetype. Excuse me. And so Megalith is an archetype of rock monsters who do a really, really great job of building into... It's an interesting strategy. The best way I can say it is that they are inherently very defensive, but what you are doing is preventing your opponent from playing. And what's really unique about the game that they want to play, they are actually able to ritual summon without using a ritual spell. And so what you
really
do...
hope that works.
It's a cool concept. So you have level...
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Chill. It is 10:30, guys. Chill out. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
So Megalith wants to discard one of their level 8 ritual monsters in order to bring out your lower level or like level 4 ritual monsters from hand. You're not restricted to that, but that seems to be like the go-to gameplay. And what you can do, a lot of them have an effect to use themselves plus another ritual monster you might control on field or in hand, I believe, in order to bring out your bigger, stronger ritual monsters. So really cool idea. They actually pair really well with Black Dragon, which, to be honest, guys, is probably going to get banned relatively soon.
No doubt, no doubt.
As soon as people can start playing on cardboard again. But I mean, it does work with some of the Adamancipator stuff, which is a newer combo deck. And
it's
so
part of what's called the Secret Slayers meta, which is the booster pack that came out here recently.
Yeah, it's caused a lot of problems for just about everybody else in the Yu-Gi-Oh world. But the big point to that is it is a really unique archetype, and it's a really unique playstyle that challenges a lot of what people are generally trying to do in the metagame. So it is not as good as it could be, I think, but I gotta say it's not bad. I also realized there's another deck that if you really just want to frustrate your opponent, there is the Herald archetype, and that is actually based around rituals plus synchros. So, it's interesting how it works together. But if I remember right, it's that is how it's built. Is you can ritual into some pretty powerful boss monsters, or you have your small synchros that very quickly can grow into much larger ones, should you choose so. So it's pretty cool. And then our last one, Zach, take it for us. It is probably the only one that's going to be competitive, if it's going to be competitive.
Boys and girls, let's sit down and listen to somebody that can't play Ritual talk about the competitive Ritual deck. So, so the name of this archetype is called Necros, and it is insanely, insanely powerful. It is actually, I think it might be the original. There's a card that a lot of people refer to as Trish or Trishula. It is so stinking powerful because here's what it does. It allows you to go and banish from the field, from your opponent's hand, and from the graveyard, all in one sweet move. It is insane. And what you'll find out is once stuff's in the banish zone, unless there's a few select cards that actually put stuff back in the graveyard, and a lot of people just don't run decks that allow you to do that enough. So I'm so sorry. Give me one
You're
second.
good. Go for it.
Pups, chill the F out. Pups, hey, quit antagonizing each other. Hey, knock it off. Knock it off. Here we go. Back to it. So yeah, Necroz goes and allows one of the most powerful cards in the game in the form of some version of removal for your opponent. And a lot of decks, like my own, personally, if you went and banished all my cards before I got to, I'm gonna lose, guaranteed, 100%. That is the weak point of my deck, 100%. Outside of like bricking. So, so with Necroz, what it likes to do is you get to go and discard a lot of the ritual monsters and gain some version of an effect. And that effect will either be a way to recycle your ritual monsters. So I can take one of them and discard it. And now I get to add a specific ritual monster to hand. Like I can go and hand pick Trishula if I want. Or I can go and take a different kind of Necroz ritual monster, discard it, and boom, I get the ritual spell that'll help me get it out. So it is a really nifty, really fun way to play. And the fact that you can do so many things in your hand, which is more often than not, unless you're playing Mermail, your hand is pretty well protected. So you get to go and discard when you please. You get to add stuff to your hand, all that fun stuff. And Necroz ended up becoming insanely recursive. And here recently, the ban list actually unbanned one of the most powerful cards within the deck. So now it's running at near full power again, and it is ready to take on the format. We'll have to wait and see if anyone can break it, because right now, until Adamantipator and Eldritch get a severe some version of banning of one of the cards, honestly, the card that's probably going to get banned is going to be either Needle Fiber or Christian Hauck Fibrax or Jet Synchron, or something like that. It's going to be one of those, or Deskbot 001, something like that. Something's going to get banned to mess up the whole combo that they do with all of that. That'll happen very, very soon, and then Necroz and everything else should have a better fighting chance. Hopefully that happens. If you want to pick up a ritual deck, the one I recommend to be competitive is Necroz every single time. So
For sure. And something that's important to know, there is an engine that was built strictly as support for rituals, and that is the Impcantation, like incantation, like, spells and stuff.
But imp instead, like the little
Incantation.
Weird little monster things that move like this. Maybe, I don't know.
That's going to be the thing that haunts my dreams for a while.
It's just going to be my hand going across the screen.
It like just moves like this. Weird. But Impcantation was designed to help out a lot of ritual strategies by being able to add ritual monsters and ritual spells to hand. And they have their own ritual monster, which is an incredibly powerful piece of interaction. So just something to think about, as you are starting to venture into these different styles. I would strongly consider, if you're going to build a ritual deck, consider putting the Impcantation engine in there. But I think that covers just about everything that we wanted to talk about. Zach, you got anything else?
I think that's it on that end. I don't know. Impcantation is one of the few things that actually goes and helps ritual stuff. There's just not much in the world about it. So please get your hands on it, get into it. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and it can do a whole lot for you if ritual summoning is the mechanic that you'd like to utilize more than any other. So,
yeah, for sure. So, guys, I think that wraps this week's episode up. Remember, like, rate, and review, and remember, we just got a YouTube channel, so go and check us out there. Hopefully, we
Please
might
follow us.
actually
That'd be so
please
chill.
please follow us. If you guys wanted to check us out on there, keep your eyes peeled for our gameplay videos. And Zach, do you think we can make it happen where we have this video up on there instead of strictly the audio for the podcast?
I think we could, yeah.
All right, perfect. So, guys, thank you again for sticking with us through the journey. Don't forget, give us some comments and let us know where we can build and what you guys would like to see. It would really help us out. Yeah, I think that's it. Zach, you got anything?
I think that's all we got. Please like this, rate, review us. And let us know, what do you want to hear about? What is the stuff that confuses you about the game of Yu-Gi-Oh when you walk in? We want to know, and we're trying to find new stuff to talk about all the time. Please hit us up on YouTube. If for some reason you cannot reach us on rating, reviewing in one of the various apps that's used for podcasts, hit us up on YouTube. Write in a little comment. We'd love to answer it. And I know I plan on being super interactive, and Mason is as well. So if you guys need some, just let one of us know. We're more than happy to try to do something to help you understand this game better and help understand why in the world did we fall in love with this game as opposed to any other one. So
there you go. And remember, guys, you can always check us out on Podomatic or Spotify or iTunes. And I think you can even find us on Google Podcasts. So make sure you check us out on all of those and help us get up there. Yeah, I think that's it. So, guys, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
peace out.